Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Fantasy Football Scouts. Something a bit different this time round. This video is an introduction to SoRare, who are partnered with Fantasy Football Scouts this season. I am joined by Adam, who created the SoRare Academy that we're going to get into a bit more detail about. And you just love all these sort of games, don't you, Adam? SoRare and other trading games that you've played in the past?
I do. Yeah, I've played these for a long time. So I tend to like games that kind of span all different leagues and have that kind of trading element as well as the fantasy element. So Rare was always a big kind of draw for me.
So before we get into the Academy, do you want to just give a bit of background into what SoRare is and what you're kind of getting yourself into if you start playing?
Sure. So Rare is it's a fantasy game. It's about building your squad of players, competing with other managers. It's done in one-off tournaments, so you don't tend to have a squad that you maintain kind of week to week. It's really about kind of picking the right squad for that tournament in that week. Some people say, if you're familiar with the old kind of Merlin sticker books, it's really kind of the modern digital equivalent of that, in that you're kind of collecting these digital cards. They're scarce, they're rare, and you can then, but instead of just kind of keeping that in a book, you can actually use those cards and play them in a fantasy game. And if you win, you can win more cards, you can build your collection. And it's really kind of in the last 12 months or so, really kind of grown in popularity. So Rare are getting a lot of kind of licensing deals with all the big leagues. They've got La Liga, Bundesliga now. The rumor is that they're about to get the license to the EPL. So I think if that happens, we'll be seeing a lot more of SoRare in the UK. And you even see a lot of celebrity football players playing the game. So Griezmann is a big example. He plays the game. You can see his team. You can see him, how he finishes in the league each week. Some people even trade directly with him. So it's quite fun. And I think, come 12 months time, I think we might be seeing a lot more of SoRare.
Yeah, it's like going back to kind of like old school, like Panini stickers and Pokemon cards and the battling with each other in a way.
It's exactly like that, yeah.
And then kind of dragging it to the new century with your NFTs and this kind of idea that you've got these unique cards that only you own or only a certain amount of people own.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the kind of collection element as well.
Yeah, it's kind of that's the way that you know that when you own a card, no one else has that card. So there's only so many copies of a player. So in games like FPL, where a lot of people say sometimes that they don't like it that everyone has the same team, or everyone's captaining Salah that week. That can't really happen in SoRare so much, because there is a kind of definite scarcity to the players that you can have, and sort of acquiring those players and trading them with other people is quite a social thing as well. So if you've got a group of friends that you play with, you can sort of trade cards between each other, sort of give each other good deals and whatnot. So a lot of people like to play it for that kind of social element as well as the competition.
Can they add sort of, say you buy a sort of a rare card there's only a handful of them in existence, can they then add more of the same card in? Because that would reduce the value, I'm guessing, of the card that you've got, right?
They could, but they don't. So they do specify how many of these cards are ever going to exist.
Right.
So for there's the new limited tier, which are the yellow ones that you win in the academy. There's only 1,000 copies of any one player, so there's only 1,000 limited Mbappes. That's why they're quite valuable. But some of the lesser known players, they're not quite so expensive as those. But your big name cards, like your Haalands and your Mbappes, these are the ones people expect to have value for a long, long time. So they tend to get a kind of price premium. Whereas, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best players in the game. Often some kind of lesser names can actually outscore them because they have that kind of collectible value. People do like those kind of big name wonder kids.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the academy then, because the academy was designed to be a kind of an entry point into so rare for people who maybe haven't sort of experienced it before.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you want to just talk a bit about kind of why you developed this and sort of the ideas behind it?
Sure, I'd love to. So this was a idea where I knew the makers of SoRare. I'd been producing some content around the game, and I got chatting to them about it. And certainly in the UK, it was not that popular back then. 6 to 8 months ago, and a lot of people kind of, if you spoke to them and asked them about SoRare, they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm kind of interested, but." I don't really have an easy way where I can just kind of jump in, play the game for free, give it a try. So I'm a sort of very part-time contributor to Fantasy Football Scout as well. I do usually when there's articles around Bundesliga or for the European Championships, and you need kind of other league knowledge. I do a bit of writing for Fantasy Football Scout. So I basically got in touch with both Scout and the SoRare team and said, what would happen if we built a free-to-play game that allowed people to kind of try out SoRare, see what it's all about, but without having to go through kind of a lengthy sign-up process or buying loads of cards. They can literally just come in and pick whatever players they want and just give it a try. And fortunately, they both said, yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. So they got the go-ahead for that, and we built that over the summer. Launched in September. We started out with about 1,000 players in the first week, which was pretty cool. And we've grown about 500 players per week. So the last game week, we had 3,500 people play, which is quite a lot actually, and seems to be growing. Had really good feedback about it because it's really quite accessible. You drop onto the page. Hopefully, we can sort of go through the process of picking a team in a little while, but. You just kind of get straight into it. You drop the cards you want, you pick whatever players you want, and you just click the button, and then your team is entered, and you sort of see how the scores play out over the weekend. And then if you finish in the top 10, you win SoRare cards.
And these are actual cards that you can use in the game.
Exactly, yeah. So the idea is that if you start off on the SoRare Academy, if you win, you can then start building your collection because we're actually getting some pretty good prizes from SoRare. They're being pretty generous with us because they want to support us and they want people to take an interest in the game. So the prizes on offer are really quite good. So if you like that player, you can keep it, or you can sell it on the market and then use it to kind of build another team that you like. So there's kind of options there, and it's really quite cool. And we've had some good feedback from the winners about what they've been able to do with all those prizes.
Yeah, and the scoring's like really simple on the Academy. So there's no bonus points or shots on target, points for shots on target, and all this kind of stuff. It really is sort of goalkeeper. Well, the rules are there on the screen. Prioritise goalkeepers and defenders like to keep clean sheets, and prioritise midfielders and forwards like to score an assist. I mean, it couldn't be much simpler.
Can I mention the scoring system? And it is simple, but it can also, depending on what you want to do with it. Like if you're the sort of person who really wants to get involved in, statistics, it is actually there's a lot of depth to it. So there is a guide on the site about, how it really scores, because a lot of kind of the overall contribution to the game of the player is kind of factored in. So like the number of passes, the fouls they commit, all those kind of any mistakes they make, they are factored in. But for the purpose of the academy, you're right. Like it really is goals, assists, clean sheets. Those are the kind of decisive factors. So I would say for the purposes of the free to play game, just worry about those three things, and then pick your team around that. If you get in a bit later on, you kind of want to go a bit more advanced. There is a bit of depth to the game as well.
Yeah. Excellent. So the basic formation you start with is a goalkeeper, a defender, midfielder, forward, and then this kind of wild card spots too.
Yeah.
There's also sort of last 5 games form. So when you're selecting your player, you can hopefully see who's been starting, who's been rotated, who's not been in the side, and also how well they've been kind of performing too. So I guess the thing is like you've got kind of it can be a little bit overwhelming in the sense that you've got everyone available to pick from all these kind of different leagues as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of advice would you give for someone sort of building a squad early on?
I would say there's tools there on the site to help you. So all you really need to do, if you click on any one of those positions, so say goalkeeper or defender, the list there will kind of automatically highlight, which players slot into each card slot, and it's sorted by the players who have been scoring the highest in the last 5 matches, and it also tells you what fixture they've got to come. So you can usually tell, even if you don't necessarily know much about the Bundesliga or whatever, you can usually tell when Bayern are playing a team that are probably not very strong, and you can basically match by form and fixture as a really kind of simple way of selecting a team. So we've tried to give you kind of everything you need in just a quick one page. So I would suspect more of these players than you think, particularly after a Euros has just gone by. You've players like Insigne at Napoli. They're very good. People tend to know Lewandowski, Haaland, Neymar, Mbappe. The Real Madrid players. These are pretty much household names. So you probably find more than you think. And there is already a good smattering of English Premier League players in there as well. So you can pick anyone from Liverpool, you can pick anyone from West Ham. Those are the only two clubs that have an official deal with SoRare right now. But you can also pick other players who happen to be in there through their international teams. So people like De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes, they are available as well. But they're adding new clubs on a weekly basis. And like I say, I would expect the EPL as a whole to join before too long as well.
Yeah, really interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't actually know that about the international. As I said, I'm a bit of a SoRare newbie, but I've been playing the academy each week. It's one of those ones where I've seen some of the winners, kind of, because I play other games as well where they're kind of these daily games, and loading up on one team can be quite sort of successful. I think when Liverpool won against United, for example, I know the person who won it had sort of a full team of Liverpool players. Or you can kind of spread the risk around and try but then you've got to hit more things. So there's lots of different strategies you can use.
Yeah, we've had for sure. We've had I think it was 2 weeks ago. We had a chap win. I think it was a full Bayern stack. That's what they call it, stacking. And yeah, if you see a really strong team like Bayern with a really soft fixture, you can pretty much guarantee that a lot of people are going to stack 5 Bayern players and just hope for a real kind of shellacking from Bayern. But it can backfire. It's not a guaranteed route to success. I guess that you've already said that. It's like you've got all these players to pick from and every star in Europe. So it sounds easy, but then you're like, well, actually, who do I want? Do I want Neymar or do I want Mbappe? That's not an easy decision. So it's almost like sort of embarrassment of riches. But it's quite fun. It's quite cool to be able to kind of slot all those stars into a single team. And then you get to watch them over the weekend, and you've got a kind of interest there as well.
Absolutely, and you've even got Leandro Trossard there through the Belgian national team. So
yeah, good players, Trossard.
All these superstars, and I can have my Brighton boy as well.
Well, this is the thing, a lot of people find SoRare kind of broadens their kind of horizon. So I knew of Trossard before he came to the Premier League through SoRare. So it's quite interesting when a lot of people see him as a kind of brand new player, like who's this guy? And you can be a bit like, well, actually, I know about him from the Belgian league or whatever. So some people do like that aspect, but equally, a lot of people would rather just wait for them to come to a bigger league and then kind of pick them up at that point. But if you are that sort of person who likes to sort of find wonder kids kind of long before they happen, or long before they come into the mainstream, SoRare is a kind of really good platform for that.
Yeah. So if you had, say I bought Trossard at Brighton, had that card, and then he moved to another team, would I still be able to enter him into the tournaments and the competitions, or does he have to stay at the club that you buy him from?
No, he travels with the club. So if you own the card of that player, say it's Ronaldo and he moves from Juventus to Manchester United, he travels. So his image will kind of retain the shirt of the club that you bought him with. but you'll still be able to play that card in the game, and he'll score in his games for Manchester United.
Good. That's what I was hoping you'd say. So once you've got your team, you can then pick a captain. They earn 20% extra of their points.
Yep.
And then it's just as simple as just clicking the button there. And it's Friday deadlines normally, I believe.
Yeah, a bit of an odd deadline. So because SoRare is leagues all around the world, they've got to kind of cater for that. So it's 11 a.m. on a Friday. You have to have your team selected by, but you can do it anytime during the week. So the new tournament opens up on Tuesday. So anytime you want between Tuesday and Friday, you just go on there and pop your team in. And then it'll save your team, and then you're good to go.
Yep. And just to stress, the SoRare Academy is completely free. You don't need to enter any money.
Yeah, absolutely.
At all. Once you're done with the Academy, though, and you've kind of, sort of spent a bit of time on that, you can check out SoRare, the game on its the actual kind of format.
Or once you go to the site, you've just got a basic sign up screen. So SoRare will take a kind of couple of details, email address and password and whatnot. They'll give you a kind of selection of free cards that you can use, and another free-to-play kind of rookie league game on the SoRare site.
Yep.
So you can do that. You can kind of grab your free cards, but then you could sort of come back to the academy and just kind of finish off your team. And I would say give the academy a go. If you kind of find it fun, if it's interesting you, that's when you kind of go and explore the main SoRare game as well. But I think at this stage, the academy is a really kind of just quick and easy way of just getting straight into it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. I urge anyone sort of watching this video just to give it a go if you're interested in the idea of collectibles, or if you're interested in the idea of scouting other leagues and learning about players and sort of competing against other people. It's a great game for that. And yeah, the academy is awesome. I do it each week. I haven't won a rare card yet, but I mean, I play all these different games and I don't win anything, but I'm sure I'm going to at some point. It's just
law of averages. If you can carry on long enough.
Exactly right. Yeah. But thank you, and I will speak to you soon.
Great. Thanks for having me on. Take care.